All right, to discuss this further, we're now being joined by Ms. Mithali Nikor, who's an economist and founder of Nikor Associates. Mithali, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for making time and joining us on World Business Watch. What's your take on the market's roller coaster trade this week?
So it's very interesting, and I think it's very difficult for any single analyst today in the world to accurately actually decipher what is going on because there are so many interrelated effects that we're seeing playing out. So I'm going to attempt it. But this is by no means comprehensive. The first thing that we are seeing in global markets is an increased uncertainty when it comes to world peace because we're seeing a number of disturbances grow up in different regions. The Middle East, of course, now starting to emerge as a new hotspot. We've already seen the ongoing situation on the Russia-Ukraine side, and we're seeing tensions, of course, even at within country level in countries like Bangladesh, which, as you just described, really link in with global, supply chains and value chains. So in this situation, the increased uncertainty is the number one driver. The second driver, which we saw, is about the yen carry trade. So for a second, I'll just explain. The yen carry trade is like an arbitrage opportunity, right? For the longest time, we've seen the Bank of Japan keep yen rates very, very low, keep interest rates very, very low, almost zero for most of 2011 to 2016. Now, on July 31st, when this rate was increased to 0.25%, when the interest rate in Japan was increased to 0.25%, the real power of the yen as a currency is what the world observed, because at that point, a lot of investors and equity holders who were benefiting from the yen carry trade and investing in emerging markets actually just sold off and went straight back to the yen, which also then, fed into currency markets. So this yen carry trade has now been halted. The announcement is that we're no longer increasing rates there, and that's calmed the markets for the moment. And then the third effect is really around the US economy, and there the upcoming elections and of course the weaker numbers on unemployment and rebound of growth. So all of this together, leading to a massive sellout yesterday. Of course, with lower prices, we see the typical principles of economics playing in, and today, the rally sort of coming back.
Mithali, going forward, what's a better advice at this point? Wait and watch or buy on the dip?
I would say buy on the dip, a little bit aggressive, but at this point in time, the kind of dips that we are seeing,
because a lot of analysts have said wait and watch, and you're saying buy on the dip. So please go ahead and explain it. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying buy on the dip because I do think that a lot of monetary policy organizations, when we look at the different central banks across the world, they're sort of coming in and they're getting troubled by this volatility that is being, seen in the market. So I do think that we're going to see a series of monetary policy announcements. I mean, India has its monetary policy announcements scheduled for the 8th of August. We'll see by the end of September certain monetary policy announcements coming from the US Federal Reserve. We've already seen the Bank of Japan make its monetary policy announcement for this quarter. So I do think that, some coordinated action from the reserve banks across the countries are going to play out in order to manage this volatility, which is driven not only by stock markets and, by investors, but actually by real economics and also by political developments around the world. So I would say for now, buy on the dip, because I do think the situation is going to become less volatile because of active management from the reserve banks.
All right, Mithali, you make a fair point there. You've backed up your decision to buy on the dip. Some analysts suggest one should wait and watch. But here's what Mithali Nikor had to share with us. That was Mithali Nikor, economist and founder of Nikor Associates, joining us from Delhi. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.